on today's menu is ceviche. As we go into the hotter months, I don't know if you find this, but I find that I really like cool, refreshing dishes at the end of the day after spending a long day in the heat and humidity in I almost said California, in North Carolina, because there's no humidity in California. I like to end the day with something light and refreshing. So that's kind of why I chose ceviche. So let's get started. I'm going to leave this to the side. We are going to start with a red onion. So red onions can sometimes be a tad bitter and overpowering. So we want to really let the flavors of the fish and the lime juice and all the accoutrements that are going into this dish kind of come through. So what we're going to do is something a little different than we've done in the past, is we're going to salt the red onion. And all that's going to do is help release some of the liquid in it and help draw out the, draw out the liquid and have it not be as bitter or as sharp. I guess that's the best way to say it. So I'm going to slice this into thin slices. If you prefer to have it chopped, you can chop it, your choice. I'm going to go in all different directions just because I don't want huge, big slices. And then I'll go this way. And then I'm going to go this way. And I'm just trying to find a flat surface with my onion because it's so round and I don't want it moving around. So that's the only reason why I'm changing all different directions. So here we go. That's probably sliced nice and thin. And then I'm just going to put it into a bowl, sprinkle it with salt, kosher salt. And have a bowl off to the side. And I may not use all of this onion. There we go. Grab my towel. And then I'm going to take my kosher salt and then sprinkle some of this on. And in about roughly 15 minutes, you'll see the liquid start to release from the onions, and then we'll rinse them and pat them dry. And in the meantime, I'm going to push that to the side. And I'm going to bring this here. So I'm going to get a shallow bowl, and that's where I'm going to start to mix all of my ingredients. So before I start to cut the fish, honestly, I think I'm going to get the lime juice kind of squoze and ready to go. So I have my juicer. This is my favorite thing in the world to have. It makes juicing so easy. And I'm just going to start to juice all my limes because I need about 3/4 of a cup of lime juice. So what happens in ceviche is what cooks the fish is actually the acid from the lemon juice. Sometimes ceviche uses lemon juice and lime juice. Tonight we're doing a Mexican style ceviche. So it's just lime juice. If you do more of a Peruvian style ceviche, you're going to use lemon and lime juice. So I'm going to get this throws in here. So I don't know if you guys have ever, seen when you marinate chicken, how sometimes if you marinate it in a lemon or a lime juice, you see how it starts to get white around the edges. If you do it too long, essentially the acid from the citrus is cooking the meat. Not that I would ever let my chicken sit that long, that would be cooked in juice, but for fish, it really is a nice complement to the fish. Keep going. I wasn't sure how many limes it was going to take to get to 3/4 of a cup. So I cut a bunch. I may have to cut a few more. So typically you probably get about like from a good lime, about 2 tablespoons. Limes lately, I don't know, for the last couple of years have been really rough. This year, they seem to be a lot better than they've been in the last couple of years. But I don't know if you remember, like last year, the year before, our limes were really dry. It's a nice little workout for the forearms. Always working in a little strength training into every aspect of my life. Oh, we might like be right on the money here. But I am going to need a couple more limes for the avocado sauce. Look at that! Who would have known? Exactly 3/4 of a cup. Crazy. All right, so I've got that going. And I am going to wipe off my board and my knife. And then I'm going to start with the fish. So we've got a nice, beautiful, expensive piece of red snapper all rolled up in this paper. And you can see it really is a beautiful piece of fish. So really, really, really nice. So what I'm going to do is start to cut this. Make sure your knife is really sharp. And I'm probably cutting it into about 1/2-inch slices. And then what I'm going to do is dice those slices. The colder the fish, the easier it is to cut. Once that fish starts to get warm, it's a lot more difficult to cut. A lot of times if I'm doing kind of like a, like if I were to do like a poke bowl and use tuna, I would kind of par freeze it. That makes it even easier to cut. So if your knife skills are aren't really sharp, that's a great way around cutting up a softer piece of meat. So with the fish being as soft as it is. So there we go. So I've got it all cut that way, and then I'm just going to cut it into bite size, about 1/2-inch cubes. It's going to go into my shallow bowl. And the reason why you want a shallow bowl is because you want the lime juice to be able to coat all of the fish. So I guess this is in the way. You probably can't see what I'm doing here, right? Cut. So ceviche is actually pretty quick to make. What takes the longest is actually marinating, because it needs about 30 minutes to cook in the refrigerator. And the longer you allow the fish to marinate, the more firm the fish will get in the dish. And do you like it more? I have my daughter sitting across from me. She's my sous chef today. Do you like more of a firm fish, or do you like more of a softer ceviche? So I don't know if you're able to hear her. She likes a little bit more of a softer ceviche. So she would like it marinated more at the 30-minute mark, as opposed to, I would say maybe about 1.5 to 2 hours is when it really starts to get firm. And then even the next day, it's still good. You can throw it into a salad the next day, which would be really nice. So we're going to prepare it a couple of different ways tonight. So there we go. So that's all cut up. All right, so in here, now I'm going to add I'm going to wash my hands before I start touching the whole bunch of other stuff. All right, so I got the fish in here. Just to kind of speed up the process a little, I'm just going to pour my lime juice in here now while I get the rest of the ingredients ready. There we go. So I'm going to start with a couple of cloves of garlic. And you guys know, typically I will use the frozen garlic. And something like this, because it is it's a cold dish, or it's more of a raw dish, I'm gonna mince the garlic. And the reason why I'm gonna mince it is because the frozen garlic tends to be more of a paste. So that's really better for cooking or making a dressing. If I'm doing a dish more kind of like this, I will mince it. So I'm gonna grab 3 cloves of garlic for this because they're kind of small. Well, I have one good sized one and then smaller ones. So I'm gonna go with 3. My family tends to like garlic. So we're gonna add some garlic in. And I'm just gonna give it a light smash to help release the skins. And then it should peel pretty easily. You can roll it. Also, if you take the palm of your hand and just kind of roll it back and forth, that helps release the skins as well. And then the easiest way I find to mince garlic is I'm just going to remove the little stem at the end. Get rid of that. Most of you probably know this already, but then I'm going to kind of slice it into little pieces. So they start to look like little discs. And then I'm going to take like the beefy part of my knife and I'm going to slide this just this way. And I'm just going to lay the beefy part of my knife on top of the garlic clove and I'm going to smash it down with my hand. Sorry. And then that minces it. And I'm going to do a few at a time. And then I'm just going to take my knife and just make sure that there's no little stringy attachments kind of left together. And it makes like a nice little mince, and it makes it a lot faster than sitting there and trying to dice it. So I'll do a couple of these at a time. Sometimes they'll stick to the, and as you do this at home, you can see it automatically comes into, I won't hold it up for this one, but I'll hold it up for another one. It kind of minces. I don't know if you can see it. I'll try and show you on the knife, but you can see how it's like all broken apart there, right? So it's essentially minced. And then I'm just gonna run my knife through it to make sure there aren't any super big chunks. And move that to the side. I have a few more left to go. This is a really good way to do ginger as well, because ginger tends to be really fibrous. So this is a real easy way to kind of break up ginger if you're using fresh ginger. Or you can grate it too. You can do that as well with garlic. I just feel like, I don't know, doing this to me is kind of therapeutic. Last one, run it through. All right, and there's my garlic. I'm gonna add that in, except for that little piece right there. Garlic in, rinse. And I'm gonna move on and I'll do my peppers. So you can do a jalapeno or a serrano pepper. So depending on like the heat level you like, if you want something hotter, use a serrano. I'm gonna keep it kind of mild, and I'm gonna use a jalapeno. I am gonna remove the seeds and the veins from the jalapeno because we're gonna keep this a little more mild. And you should always know, especially if you're using serrano, which has more heat than, say, the jalapeno, don't touch your face, don't touch your eyes after you've been cutting this up, because it will burn. So I'm just gonna cut this into little slivers, and then I'm gonna put that into a dice and add that. As much heat as it's going to add a nice little color to the mixture of the ceviche. So I'm going to do a nice little dice here, nice and fine. There we go, nice and easy. This is going to get mixed in. And then I am I'm kind of looking at my onions. I'm going to mix them up. The water is starting to draw out of the onions, so they feel really wet. I'm going to give them a little more time. And I am going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. So I have kosher salt. And I would say go light on the salt. You could always add more at the end. And some ground pepper. Turn that on and just get it. Good. So this is now where you kind of need to be gentle with the ceviche, right? Because you don't want the fish to break up. This is so old, this spatula, but I love it because it's really flimsy. So a lot of the spatulas now have a very hard, dense end. This is like old school spatula. I think it's like 99 cents in Target and Walmart or whatever. But I use this for more delicate things. So I'm just going to go in and just kind of turn. And I can see like the fish is already starting to cook in certain places. So it's starting to have that more opaque look. And I'll show it to you before I cover it and put it in the fridge. Okay. I am going to rinse these now. So I'm just going to take and put some water into the bowl. Grab some paper towel. Make sure I get all the salt off it. Get the onion in here. And I'm not going to use all the onion. This was a pretty big onion. So I'm just going to squeeze the water out. Pat dry. Open it up. And now I'm going to add the onion. Okay, and give it one more toss. And then I'm going to cover it, and then we're going to start preparing the rest of the dish. So it's starting to look really pretty. I love the color of the purple onion. The fish is starting to kind of turn, get a little more opaque. So I don't know, can you see that? Nice. All right, I'm going to cover this and put this into the fridge. Actually, I'm going to have my sous chef put it in the fridge. Thank you. And then what I'm going to do is flip my board so I don't have to wash it. So I have the clean side down now. I mean the dirty side down. Clean side up. And we're going to start dicing the rest of the ingredients that are going to go in there. So I'm going to do about a cup of cucumber. And I'm using the cucumbers that I have. So these, I love these, the little kind of Persian cucumbers. So they're small. So I'm gonna get about a cup of cucumber together. And I'm just gonna do a nice dice. I'm gonna take the ends off. And I may need one or two. I'll know better more when I look at it. And I'm just gonna quarter it. And actually, I'm gonna go a little more than quarter it, because this one's a little thick. And then I'm just gonna dice it. I don't know, I may throw about another half a cucumber in here. So I kind of like thirds better than instead of quarters. And then finish dicing this up. It'll go that way. So I've got my cucumber here ready to go. I'm gonna chop up some grape tomatoes. And usually like the grape tomatoes are a lot smaller, but these puppies are long. I don't know why, but so I'm gonna quarter them. Typically I would have them if they were smaller. Some of them I'm going to put into 6, but I really just kind of want them to be about the same size as my cucumber. And I'll do the same thing, about a cup of, well, I'm going to do all of these because I measured out about a cup of tomatoes. Have you all had ceviche before? I'm sure most of you have. Oh, Leslie, no. Adrian?
I've never had it.
Betty, you've never had it, living in
No.
Florida? And I know you've never had it. Charlene? Have you had it before?
Yes, I've had it. It's been a very long time.
Yeah. Here's what I love about it. You can impress your friends if you've had if you're doing like a nice dinner party, because, or even like just kind of like a nice barbecue. I think it's pretty easy to make. I mean, what takes the most time, honestly, is the chopping. So if you don't mind kind of like sitting there and chopping, I don't think it's a big deal, but this is, I think, just something really nice, and it looks really pretty. Not if you want to impress your guests, but if you want to have like a date night with your significant other, this is a really fun way to kind of make like a nice date night meal or appetizer, or it could be served as a salad, and we'll kind of go through all of that and you'll see how that'll all play out. Almost done on here. About 6 more. We did a dish on last Thursday with the young survivors, and there was cilantro in it, and somebody had asked me, well, what if I don't like cilantro? I have a really bad aversion to cilantro. So if cilantro is not your thing, you could substitute parsley for cilantro. And there we go. So that's about even. We've got the same amount of cucumber as we do tomato. And I'm going to hold off on the avocado. I'm going to move this to the side because we're going to transition to our avocado sauce. So the reason why we're making an avocado sauce is because you could serve this as a salad, and then your sauce is like essentially your dressing for your salad. And it makes a really pretty presentation if you're doing a dinner party. So let's get this going. So unfortunately, I just have this mega blender is all I have. So, and it'll be loud, but we're gonna start with 1 avocado. For the first time ever, I had an epic fail last Thursday with avocado. I bought a bag of avocados from Trader Joe's, and they were firm. I opened up every avocado and they were rotten. They were black through the core. So I took them back and they took them back, no problem. So for the avocado sauce, I'm gonna put in 1 medium ripe avocado. And I'm just kind of scoring it just because it makes it a little easier when I squeeze it out. Right into the blender. Making sure for this little guy, the pit kind of came out on that one. Score it. Squeeze it in. And then I'm gonna add about a half a cup of cilantro, and I will do stem and all in this. There's a lot of, maybe not the very bottom end of the stem, but there's a lot of flavor in the stem. So I'm gonna add the cilantro, a little more. I love cilantro, so for me, the more the better. I just love the brightness of the flavor. You're either a cilantro lover or a hater, right? Okay, so we've got our cilantro. I'm gonna throw about a teaspoon of coriander in here. Whoops. Very nice. I'm also gonna have a lime thrown at me. I'm just gonna rub it with the palm of my hand to help release the juices. Cut it in half. And I'm probably gonna use this whole lime because I need about 2 tablespoons, and there's probably about 2 tablespoons in a lime. Woo! Somebody's jumping out the side. I know, I did. You could always add more at the end if you're feeling like it needs a little more acidic or a little more lime juice to it. You could add to it. Can you get me the lime juice that is in the fridge? Because I want to show them that too. All right. So we have our lime juice. So this one, okay. We also are going to throw in some garlic cloves. For this, I am going to use my frozen garlic because it's kind of going into a dressing. So I'm going to throw in, because I'm using the frozen one, I'm going to throw in 2 garlic cloves, not 1. If I was using the fresh garlic, I would only do 1 clove. So 2 cloves of garlic. Betty, if you haven't seen these, I know, so they sell this in the frozen food section. I don't, Charlene, have you seen these either?
No,
So,
I've never seen them.
Oh my gosh, they are marvelous. So on the back, you can see it's each little thing is a clove of garlic or 1 teaspoon of garlic. So
Perfect.
it saves you a lot of time if you're making a sauce or a vinaigrette, anything along those lines.
Thank
They
you.
also do it with ginger, so you can get gingered that way as well. Okay, what else is gonna go in here? We're gonna do a pinch of cayenne. And again, just a pinch, because a little cayenne goes a long way. A little cayenne. We're gonna do some salt. Just a little bit of salt. You could always add more. I always tend to err on the low side with salt. My husband is like, did you put salt in this? But like, he would chew on rock salt if I let him. So, all right. And then from here, we're gonna put about a half a cup of water in. So my tiny little, I love this thing, my cute little measuring cup is 1/4 cup or 4 tablespoons. I'm going to start with a 1/2 cup. And if I need to add more, I'll add more. Avocados come in all different sizes, so I like to start with less. And then I could, like I said, I could always add more. And actually, I'm going to add just a little more because I'm looking at how much liquid is in here. So it's going to get loud. I apologize. Yeah, I got to take the lid. Turn it on. And I'm just going to put it on blend. I'm going to scrape down the sides and just do it one more time. And then I'm going to grab a spoon and check the texture too, and the consistency to see if I need more water, which I do. Ooh, it's really yummy. I'm going to put some more water in here because I want to thin it out a little more. So if you're vegan, this is a vegan sauce. If you're vegan, you won't be eating ceviche. There we go. Perfect. So I'll show you what this looks like. It's actually so pretty, so vibrant. I'm going to grab this and put it in this so you can see it really well. So there you go, very pretty. So it's a nice, pretty green avocado cilantro sauce, and it's very delicious. This would be great if you're doing like a Mexican salad. This would be delicious over, you know, black beans with corn and peppers, and mango would be really good in that, and some chopped tomatoes and onion, and throw some mixed greens in there. That would be very, very delicious. Mexican is probably one of my favorite all-time types of food. Yeah. So there we go. So we have that. I have extra avocado here. I'm going to use the one that is the least firm. And I'm going to use this as what's the word I'm looking for? Garnish. Thank you. All right. What I wanted to talk to you about is in Harris Teeter, they sell this. It's Italian Volcano 100% organic lime juice. And that's all it is fresh pressed lime juice. So a lot of times when I'm in a pinch, I'll use this. So, and it's good. It's fresh. It's delicious if you're making a cocktail and you don't want to be squeezing lime, or if limes are just not looking good, I always have this on hand. So that's what I want to show you with this. Okay, so we're gonna pull out the ceviche and kind of look and see where the whole cooking process is on it. See. Oh, it's starting to look good. So there's less pink, more white. I would say this probably has maybe another 10 minutes. So while this is going, I'm going to start getting everything ready for plating, and I'll walk you through everything we're going to do there. So I'm going to let this go back into the fridge for maybe another 10 minutes. I'm just making sure that all the pieces are covered with lime juice. And we'll get everything ready to go from there. I'm trying to reuse. I don't have to cut it off again. Do you want to throw this in for me? I don't have to walk again. There you go. Okay, good. All right, so I'm going to clean up just a little bit. I'm going to pull out another board. I'm going to start to get my avocado ready. So you have a couple of ways that you can serve your ceviche. So most of you have probably had ceviche served with chips, right? So ceviche with chips, and the avocado is mixed in. I'm going to do it a little differently. As I'm going to take the avocado out. So we're going to do ceviche tacos. That's going to be one thing. So that would be kind of like your main dish. And then we're going to do a ceviche salad. And then we're going to do ceviche tacos or ceviche little lettuce wraps. And then we're going to do ceviche with chips. So your traditional kind of like how you would get the ceviche. So for the ceviche that I'm going to serve in the tacos and in the lettuce wraps, I'm going to slice it. And then for the ceviche that is going to be served with the salad and with the chips, I'm going to dice it and mix it in to the actual ceviche. So I'm going to take this out. Little pinch. I like to take it out with a spoon, just rub it like all around the edges because it helps release the avocado without smashing it. And then here, I'm just going to dice this so it's ready to go. So we have diced avocado here. Put that to the side. I'm going to chop it up a little more, just a little rough chop. And you want like a pretty, you don't want a super firm avocado, but you don't want a super soft avocado because it'll just turn to mush. Okay, another rinse. All right, so we're going to start with, I'm going to pull it out. Do you want to grab the lettuce? So I wish I had a bigger counter. With the Zoom, sometimes it's really hard to kind of have everything going here too. Perfect. So I'm gonna chop up a little bit of cilantro as well to kind of mix into the ceviche. And this I'm gonna chop a little more fine. You can always garnish with cilantro leaves. And you want a sharp knife. If you don't have a sharp knife when you're cutting herbs, they'll look bruised. So I don't know if you've ever cut herbs where they're really dark at the edge where you cut them. That is because your knife is not sharp enough. So sharpen your knife if that's what you're seeing with your herbs when you're chopping them. Okay, so we've got that going. The other thing I'm gonna do, and now things will start to go fast pretty soon, is I should probably talk to you about the tacos. So I love street tacos, the small little tacos. You can get them in white corn, yellow corn. Sometimes I have a really hard time finding them here the way I like them. So I know Trader Joe's makes some that they're simply corn, salt, and lime and water. So the lower amount of ingredients that are in your tortillas, the better it is for you. So all I was able to find in my shopping little trip today were the Mission tortillas. So they're Mission Street Taco tortillas. They have 6 ingredients in them. So they do have benzoic acid and phosphoric acid. I usually look for like some type of citric acid. So it doesn't have a whole ton of ingredients in it, but like I said, I look for under 4 ingredients when I'm kind of looking for any type of tortillas. That being said, I have my griddle going. I'm gonna heat up 2 tortillas. This one is, because it's dried, it's wanting to flip. So we're gonna get them nice and warm. And then I have living lettuce. So have you ever seen the living butter lettuce in the supermarket? I love using this for kind of like your little veggie wraps or lettuce wraps. I also love to grill these. So if you want to throw a bunch of them on the grill, you're just kind of getting them warm and pliable. And on the griddle here, as you'll see, they do get like a little caramelization on the bottom of them. You probably can't see that far. So you can see they get a nice little in here, and on the back you can see. So we're gonna put those here and here, and then we'll get those going. I'm gonna pull the ceviche out because it's probably good. That looks good. Funny what a few minutes kind of, how that will kind of change the whole dynamic of the fish. So now I'm going to add the rest of my ingredients in. So I'm going to put the cucumber. And I'll move this in a second. Slide out of the way. So I have the cucumber and the tomato here, and I'm mixing this in, jumping out. And again, gently, I'm just kind of using this and folding everything in. I'm going to add the cilantro. It looks so pretty. This would be great at Christmas time too. All the Christmas colors in here, the reds and the greens, right? And on the recipe, I talk about all the different fishes that you could use. I mean, you could use sea bass, red snapper, you could use tilapia, you could use dorado. Oh, I do know what I want to tell you about. So it's really important to eat sustainable fish. So here's a little good tip for you. The Monterey Bay Aquarium has a seafood watch. And if you log on to their site, you can click on your state and it'll list all the fish that's available in your state and where you should buy it from and where you shouldn't buy it from. Can you plug my computer in because it's gonna die? And whatever state you're in. So if you're traveling, you can go, I think they have an app. You can like click on, if you're in Florida, Betty, right? You click on Florida and it'll pull up all the fish available to you in Florida and tell you they have like a best choice. And if you can't get that, what your next choice would be, and then where you should not buy it from if it comes. I know for this, they were saying if it came from China, don't buy it. So just a quick little tidbit. All right, so now we're gonna start plating. So I have my little tacos, and I'm gonna grab a spoon again. I'm gonna fill my taco. And I'm just gonna garnish it with a little slice of avocado. Shoot. Less is more. Especially, my daughter said, especially when you have $60 fish. I'm gonna put a little garnish of cilantro. And then I'm gonna do the same thing, just if you're not into tortillas, it's really, really nice to have it in a little lettuce wrap. Lettuce wrap. Again, another little garnish of avocado. And a little sprig each. Okay. And there you have it. So you can see, hopefully, I don't know how well you can see it, learning, but you have your tacos and your lettuce wraps. I don't know, can you guys see that, not see it?
I can see it. It looks delicious.
Okay, good. Yeah, white there. So that's one way to serve it. Another way to serve it, I'm gonna move these out of the way, is traditionally, and I always like to make things look pretty, is with chips. So I have these cute little bowls here. It's a little white bowl. I'm gonna fill my little white bowl with my ceviche. I'm gonna add some of the chopped avocado. Always want to go off. And this cute little mini spoon. I like minis of everything. My kids laugh at me because I have like mini spoons, mini forks, but they're really good for appetizers. And I chose to use blue corn tortillas for the difference and the color difference. So can you guys see that? Nice. So that looks really pretty, right? So that's individual servings. There's another way to serve it. All right. So there. And I used, again, when I buy my tortilla chips, I look for the least amount of ingredients. Today I used Simply Organic. So Tostitos came out now with these, and there's 1, 2, 3 ingredients. So there's blue corn, organic expeller pressed sunflower oil, and sea salt. Perfect. Okay, so the last way to do it is one of my favorite ways to do it, and that's as a salad. So I am gonna mix the rest of this avocado in. And then toss it, because I don't want the avocado to turn. And the lime juice in here, the acid, will help keep the avocado green. And then we'll have a cleaner area. Okay. Move this way. Toss this in. I'll do a second white plate because I'm going to do it 2 different ways. I have one here though. Okay. So this is what it looks like. I don't know if you can see. So that's what it looks like in the bowl. Really pretty. It makes a lot. It's 6 servings. So I guess ideally it was only $10 a person, right? Well, maybe a little more after you add in all the other stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna try this and see if this is gonna work. So I love these little things. They're little like condiment, what are they called? Bottles. And I like to use this because you can make pretty designs. Now, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put it in this and it'll be easier to do it this way. And then I can clean it out. So I'm gonna pour some in here. Not much, and then I'll squeeze it all out. And then I'm just gonna make a little design on my bowl, on my dish. The top off. And you can do whatever you want. I'm just gonna kind of do a little circle around the edge. Let's see if I didn't mean to cut that, it's too tight. Sorry, I thought this one was cut, but it's not. So there we go. We'll start one more time, wipe it. And I'm just gonna kind of make a little circle around the edge. And then I'm gonna get like an ice cream scoop. Fill it in, kind of hold it, and just kind of go over the edge right here. And it makes like a really pretty little presentation. And then I'll just get some cilantro. Find a little place for it to sit up. And then there you go. You have a pretty little salad. Right? So anybody could do that, right? I would say put more in here because they didn't put enough, so it started to spit a little bit. So there you go. So you have, huh? No, because it was in here. So you have kind of ceviche 4 ways. You have it as a taco. You could even take some of the creme, the avocado sauce, and this would be really nice, drizzled over the top of your, yeah, avocado, your tortillas. And there you go. I hope you guys can see this. Can you
It's
see
beautiful.
everything?
It's so colorful.
It's so colorful and it's so light. And what one would you like to try?
I want to try one in the lettuce wrap, but with the avocado cream.
With the avocado cream. So I'm just going to use a spoon.
Use your baby spoon.
Oh, my baby spoon. She's so funny. In the lettuce wrap?
Yeah.
So you can come around and say hello because like everybody's like, oh, your daughter, but who is she? Good. So you guys have any questions?
What part of the freezer aisle? I've never seen the frozen garlic or ginger.
It's where the frozen vegetables are.
It is.
It's a
Okay.
really small section. So if you're not looking for it, you can miss it easily. Trader Joe's sells it too.
Okay.
And again, they move things around every now and then, but that is sold somewhere in the vegetable area,
Near where the
right?
frozen vegetables are.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. And you know what? Adrian had mentioned like bowls, and this just came to my mind. This would be a good, like as a bowl, right? Just throw some rice in there. You could,
That's a
segment
great
it and
idea.
do it that way.
Yeah.
I was
Kind of make
thinking
it a
when you
little
were,
heartier.
I was thinking when you were doing that, if you had someone that didn't like the fish, you could maybe set some of the whole mixture apart before you know, for them. from that thing.
Yeah,
But,
I'm just telling you, I am very pleasantly surprised that I liked it. Like I was ready for like to be hit in the face with like a fish taste, and it was not at all.
Snapper
It was
doesn't.
very, very fresh, very, very, it was very refreshing, honestly, to sit there. I mean, today it was hot and humid, so I
Hey,
hope y'all
Laura.
try it.
I love all the tips you just weave into your presentation. That's where I go back afterwards and try to highlight those.
Well, good.
Laura, this looks delicious. I can't wait to try it.
Just for funsies, I did go on because that's what I appreciated was the sustainable fish thing.
Oh, the
I just
Monterey
went
Bay
on
what?
the Monterey Bay Aquarium and got on their seafoodwatch.org, and put in North Carolina, and they give you all the best choices and all the good alternatives, things to avoid. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is very cool, yeah. So
Yeah.
you want to stay away from, I know they say when they're talking about fish and whatnot, but you want to stay away from fish that are like mass produced and farm raised, because they're fed hormones and they're not living in their true environment, right? So as far as I know, that's what you're supposed to stay away from. And I don't know if the aquarium really talks about that, but they do talk about sustainable farm raised fish, because there are some farm raised fish that are sustainable.
Yes,
Right?
and they do talk about that in, they give you best choices. There are some like shrimp, U.S. farmed shrimp is the best choice. I'm just looking for ones, they tell which ones are bass, U.S. hooks and lines, and farmed. But say things to avoid, I'm looking for imported mahi-mahi, avoid that. I have no idea why. They do give a reason though for the ones to avoid. They said take a pass. They're overfished, or they lack strong management, or are caught and farmed in ways that harm other marine life or the environment. So that's why, like say bluefin, they say to avoid. And I'm sure it's not because it's bad for you, but it's just the way it's caught.
Right. That's a great resource.
Yeah, no, this is cool.
It
This is
a
really,
great resource.
yeah, and on here, I didn't know, I buy the Argentinian, well, that's crab. There's some pink Argentinian, is it Argentinian pink shrimp at Trader Joe's that's really good. But they're pink to start with. And
She was.
so you have to cook them even though they're pink. But
Yeah,
overcook
I buy
them.
those.
Yep.
You
And I
overcooked them?
too much. And they got mushy on me.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you, Laura.
You're
This was
welcome.
Thank you,
fabulous.
Laura.
Thank you.
You're welcome.